Welcome to NFL Nexus. So, you think winning is all sunshine and rainbows in the NFL? Well, think again. Winning brings attention, and attention brings poachers. Right now, the Indianapolis Colts are learning this lesson the hard way. After an incredible season, they're facing what you might call a good problem to have. But trust me, it's still a huge problem. Their top coaches and players are suddenly the hottest commodities on the market, and now the front office has to play a high-stakes game of chess to keep their championship window from slamming shut before it ever really opened.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this whole thing down. First, we'll talk about this idea of being a victim of your own success. Then we'll get into the two massive headaches for Indy, the coaching situation with Jim Bob Cooter and the contract nightmare with star receiver Alec Pierce. After that, we're going to look at the sharks circling in the water, the teams with a ton of cash who want a piece of the action. And finally, we'll connect all the dots and figure out what path the Colts can possibly take from here.
You know, there's this weird paradox in the NFL. The better you do, the harder it is to stay good. Success puts a giant bullseye on your back. For the Colts, their fantastic season basically turned their entire organization into a high-end shopping catalog for every other team in the league. Every single win just drove up the price tag on their best assets, and now other GMs are flipping through the pages, ready to write some checks. It really is the ultimate double-edged sword.
And that's really the question, isn't it? This is what separates the one-hit wonders from the dynasties. How do you keep the machine running when your rivals are showing up with toolkits trying to take it apart piece by piece? The real battle for a team like the Colts isn't just on the field anymore. It's happening right now, in the offseason, in the front office. This is a test of strategy and foresight, and it's what determines if you're building something that lasts.
So this really boils down to a two-front war for the Colts. It's a battle for brains and a battle for brawn. On one side, you've got a potential brain drain in the coaching staff, with a key architect of their offense getting poached. And on the other side, you've got a full-blown free agency frenzy brewing for one of their most explosive weapons. These might seem like separate issues, but believe me, they are deeply connected. Let's start with the coaching side of things.
All right, let's zoom in on the sideline because this is where the first fire is burning. We're talking about offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter. Now, Cooter has been absolutely essential as head coach Shane Steichen's right-hand man. Together, they built an offense that was a total nightmare for opponents, finishing 8th in the entire league in both passing and scoring. You just don't put up numbers like that and expect nobody to notice.
And boom, right on cue, the Sharks are in the water. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo is reporting that the Philadelphia Eagles have officially put in a request to interview Cooter. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking, because I thought it too. Wait a minute, why would he leave for the exact same job? It feels like a lateral move, right? Just to change the scenery? But in the NFL, the title on the business card rarely tells you the full story.
And here is the gigantic difference. It's all about who's actually calling the plays. In Indy, Shane Steichen is the guy with the play sheet on game day. He's the offensive mastermind, the primary play caller. Cooter is crucial to the game plan, no doubt, but Steichen is driving the car. The opportunity in Philly, it's a chance for Cooter to get the keys himself. He would be the primary play caller, the one running the show. For a coach who wants to be a head coach one day, that's a career-making opportunity you just can't ignore.
But, and this is a huge but, this is where things get really interesting. The NFL actually has a rule for this exact scenario called the lateral move rule. Basically, if a coach is under contract, his team can block him from interviewing for a job that isn't a clear promotion. And going from offensive coordinator to, well, offensive coordinator is the definition of a lateral move. So legally, the Colts hold all the cards here. They can just say, nope, sorry, you're not going.
So the Colts are stuck between a rock and a hard place. The Eagles have made their request. Now what do? Do you play hardball? Do you use the rule book, block the interview, and keep your coaching staff intact for another Super Bowl run? Or do you do the guy a favor, let him chase his dream, and maintain a reputation as a coach-friendly place to work, even if it means creating a massive hole in your own offense? There is no easy answer here.
Okay, so that's the coaching drama. Now let's shift from the booth down to the field, because the second problem is arguably way bigger and a whole lot more expensive. We're talking about their breakout star wide receiver, Alec Pierce. His rookie contract just ended, and he decided to have the best season of his life at the perfect time for his agent. For the Colts accountants, though, yeah, this is a five-alarm fire. Just look at that number for a second. 21.3. That was Alec Pierce's yards per reception last season. Let me put that in perspective for you. That means, on average, every single time he caught the ball, it was a first down and then some. It's an absolutely absurd number. And for the second year in a row, it was the best in the entire NFL. This isn't just good, people. This is defense-breaking, game plan-wrecking production.
And this isn't some flash in the pan.
We're talking about a legitimately historic achievement. As you can see, he's the first player to pull this off in back-to-back years since 1990. That is over 3 decades ago. And the efficiency is what's truly mind-boggling. He cleared over 1,000 receiving yards on only 47 catches. 47! He isn't just a deep threat anymore. He has proven he is the premier deep threat specialist in professional football.
And please, don't make the mistake of thinking he's just some one-trick pony who only runs fast in a straight line. His value goes so far beyond his own stats. His vertical speed literally changes the geometry of the field. Safeties have to respect him, which opens up all the short and intermediate routes for his teammates. It creates lighter boxes for Jonathan Taylor to run into. On top of all that, he's a big, physical receiver who is a nasty and willing blocker in the run game. He is a walking, talking schematic advantage, and every coach in the league knows it.
So, you've got this young, historically efficient player hitting free agency. What happens next? A feeding frenzy. His price tag has skyrocketed, and the Colts aren't just negotiating against themselves anymore. Oh no, they are now in an all-out bidding war against some of the most receiver-needy and cash-rich teams in the entire league. This is where it gets really dangerous for Indy. Let's look at the top 3 threats ready to back up the Brinks truck.
First up, we have the absolute nightmare scenario for every single Colts fan. Their division rival, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are starving for a real number 1 option. How badly? Their top pass catcher last season was a tight end who didn't even get to 600 yards. Now just imagine pairing Pierce's game-breaking speed with the rocket arm of their young quarterback, Cam Ward. That duo would instantly give them a downfield passing attack they haven't had in years.
And here is the absolute killer for Indianapolis. The Titans can afford anybody they want. They are walking into this offseason ranked number 1, the top spot in available cap space. They have a mountain of money and a Grand Canyon-size hole at wide receiver. If the Titans decide Pierce is their guy, they can make him a Godfather offer. An offer the Colts, who have other players to pay, simply can't refuse or, well, can't match.
Next up on the list are potential poachers who head out to Las Vegas. The Raiders find themselves in a very similar spot. Tons of money to spend and a receiver room that is just barren. Not a single receiver on their roster hit 700 yards last year. And with everybody expecting them to take quarterback Fernando Mendoza with the top pick, what's the best housewarming gift you can get your new franchise cornerstone? How about an elite deep threat? Pierce would be the ultimate security blanket for a rookie QB.
And finally, we have what might be the scariest suitor of them all, a legitimate Super Bowl contender in the Seattle Seahawks. This is the rich get richer scenario that should be giving the Colts front office nightmares. The Seahawks won 13 games last year, and they still have the 4th most cap space in the league. Their offense is already scary, with Cooper Kupp working the slot and Rashid Shaheed taking the top off. But they're missing that one piece, a big, tall, physical X receiver who can win on the perimeter. Alec Pierce doesn't just make them better, he completes the puzzle.
Hey, real quick before we get to the big picture and tie all this together, if you're digging this deep dive and you want to help support what we do here at NFL Nexus, please consider checking out our NFL-themed coloring books. They are perfect for fans of any age, for your kids, your grandkids, or hey, even for yourself. You can scan the QR code right there on the screen or just hit the link in the description. Every bit of support helps us keep making content just like this.
Okay, so it is absolutely critical that we understand these 2 things. The Cooter situation and the Pierce situation are not separate issues. They're completely intertwined. They're 2 sides of the exact same coin. The decision the Colts make on one is going to have a massive impact on the other. And if they lose one of them, or God forbid both, it could set off a chain reaction that unravels their entire offense.
Let's just game this out for a second. Cooter leaves, okay? Now your offensive continuity is shot. You're bringing in a new coordinator, potentially a whole new system, and you're praying you don't think a step back. Now, let's say Pierce leaves. Well, now the entire geometry of your offense is broken. Safeties can play closer to the line of scrimmage, which clogs up running lanes for Jonathan Taylor and shrinks the passing windows for everyone else. All of a sudden, your front office is under insane pressure just to tread water, trying to replace elite talent instead of adding to.
And that all brings us here, to the final takeaway. The Indianapolis Colts have arrived at a massive crossroads. The decisions they make over the next few weeks are going to define this franchise for the next half-decade. This is the moment. This is the test that proves whether you're just a good team that had a nice run or if you're a truly great organization built to last.
Look, they already did the hardest part. They built a winning culture. They drafted cornerstone players. But the game has changed now. The challenge isn't just winning football games on Sundays anymore.
It's about winning the strategic battles in February and March, across a negotiation table. They have to prove that their front office can be just as elite as their players. Because that's the mark of a real contender, the ability to retain, replace, and reload year after year.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Can a front office be as clutch in the offseason as a quarterback is in the 2-minute drill? The Indianapolis Colts are officially on the clock, so I'm turning it over to you. If you were the GM, what's the move? Do you block Cooter? Do you break the bank for Pierce? Let me know your entire offseason plan down in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please do us a huge solid and hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to NFL Nexus so you don't miss any of our deep dives. Thanks for watching.